DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. We're going to have a great show. Dr. Corbin Stevens from Scott City, Kansas. He is the owner and operator of Stevens Veterinary Services and an owner in Production Animal Consultation. We're going to talk about the bud tub and much more and what he does in feedlot practice.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America, a place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEXX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idexx.com/DocTalk.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Corbin Stevens, who's a friend, colleague, partner, and Dr. Stevens is a veterinarian entrepreneur from Scott City, Kansas. He born and raised there?
Yes.
Born and raised in Scott City, and went to veterinary school at K-State, went back out to Scott City, and is not only owner and operator of Stevens Veterinary Services there, but also a partner and owner in Production Animal Consultation. And you know, we met years ago when we were at a feed yard together.
We did. Yep. I was preg checking. You were consulting.
Yeah, he was working. I was driving around in a pickup, and Dr. Corbin is just a tremendous individual, a tremendous veterinarian, and one of those people that I like to emulate and just appreciate all you're doing for our profession. But let's talk a little bit about what you do for feed yards and kind of what your practice is like.
Sure, thank you, Dr. Dan. So I started practice in 1999, mixed animal practice, did that for 4.5 years, and then in 2004 started Stevens Veterinary Services. And since then, basically I've done cow-calf practice, and then probably in 2008, 2009 started pretty heavy in consulting in the feed yards. And so I take probably a little different approach in the feedlot scenario, Dr. Dan. I try to not only educate, but I guess take a 30,000-foot view of just efficiencies in production, and that's kind of what my focus is. And those that I consult for will hopefully recognize that, we try to be the catalyst, help management be the catalyst to make the labor successful and allow the cattle to, produce with maximum performance. And so everything that I go look at a feed yard, I'm constantly thinking, okay, can we do it better? Can we do it a more efficient way, a less cost way? And basically make sure that the labor is able to do their job and be successful. And as long as they can be successful at what they're doing, they enjoy their job, they're going to do a better job. So a lot of education, a lot of training, basically just making sure that everything's working efficiently.
And I think that it's, there's some thought process that, it's only the big yards and things like that need help with training or education. And really, as a veterinarian, we have a lot of dairymen, a lot of ranchers, a lot of feedlot operators, and people from all across agriculture that watch this show. Working with that veterinarian, there's a next level of relationship that we can have.
Yes. So it's everybody's important, right? I mean, the people that are doing the processing, doing the washing the water tanks, the people making the decisions on how to make a business successful, profitable. Everybody plays a role, and us as veterinarians have the ability to look at each sector and have that independence to be able to bring that together. And I think that's what is most fun about what I do, is I get to bring those people together in a common goal and production.
Well, you're dang good at it. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Dr. Stevens about a bud tub and about some of the different techniques you can use when you're processing or doctoring cattle. You're watching DocTalk, and we're sure glad you joined us.
Visit us online or call to see how we can improve your cattle handling facility. Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why ZenPro developed ProFusion Drench for beef cattle. Formulated with ZenPro's patented trace mineral technology, ProFusion Drench is a no-script, no-needle performance supplement, proven to rapidly replenish essential nutrients lost during times of stress. For optimal results, use ProFusion Drench with ZenPro Performance Minerals in feed as part of a complete nutrition program. To learn more, go to zenpro.com.
If you missed Caregiver Camp this year, don't worry. We'll have more camps in 2022 at Knopfsinger Ranch in Benkelman, Nebraska. The camp is an opportunity for new and veteran employees to receive one-on-one instruction in a relaxed environment from Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, Dr. Kip Lucasavage, and Ted Howard on cattle handling, horsemanship, animal health, disease detection, and team interaction. At Caregiver Camp, people learn how to grow, how to trust, and open lines of contact between animals and humans. These principles will allow you to build relationships with your own livestock and team. For more information and future dates, visit our events page at packdvms.com.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Corbin Stevens, and Dr. Stevens is a veterinarian from Scott City, Kansas. He is one of the leaders in our profession, and he does so much with feed yards, with cow-calf operations, and beyond. And Dr. Corbin, one of the things that at one of your facilities is, or more than one of your facilities, but been introducing, we've had the bud box and the tub, and now we're coming out with the bud tub. So talk to us a little bit about the philosophy. How'd that come about?
Yeah, so amazingly, I was challenged by a feed yard manager several years ago that loved the bud box, didn't necessarily like the being necessary for a handler to be in with the cattle. And so they challenged me to come up with a different facility that worked with that motion, that natural motion of coming into a facility and returning from where the cattle came from. And that energy it was so important to capture rather than just a regular tub system. So I went out and looked at some systems that allowed kind of the wagon wheel system that was in some of the yards, some of the older yards. And I thought, if we can take that and we can create that motion and then straighten the cattle out and so that they can see where they're going and get that motion, that commitment into those facilities, we should be able to, get cattle flow better and lower stress and improve the vaccine, how well the vaccine works, and improve the safety of the people working the cattle. And so it seemed like a natural fit. And so we designed the very first one that I was involved with at a large feed yard and put that in. And the beauty of it is the cattle do flow very, very nice through them. It's a natural flow that people don't get in with the cattle. So if there's some, like many facilities, there's oftentimes some newer, younger type people that are handling, pushing cattle into these facilities. We can train them very easily to be on the outside and add pressure, release pressure, and the cattle flow nice.
Yeah, sometimes some of us older, more experienced people don't need to be down in there either.
Well, that's true. We're all very safety conscientious in the feed yards. Unfortunately, there's people, that do get injured, and so we try to avoid as much of that as we possibly can, and this is one way we can do that.
Yeah, so as you've morphed through this, you have different types of setups of these. You have the large ones for processing barns, but you've even put in some into hospitals to doctor cattle. I can see it, in veterinary clinics and things like that in the future, that this could be really, really popular.
Yeah, so we know that there's certain hospital facilities that you're only going to, be working maybe 10 to 20 animals, or you can have these large processing facilities where the throughput's high, and we're going to have to process 600 or 700 a day. So you can measure that and understand how many cattle you need to put through those facilities and make an adjustment. One of the things we haven't really perfected is whether we walk through or we walk around, and so and whether it's a left side or right side, and every facility is a little bit different how the cattle flow in. But that's something that, we can work with a producer and figure out what's best for their facility, especially if it's a retrofit. But it's all pretty much site specific on how to accomplish that.
Cool. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more with Dr. Corbin Stevens.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
If you missed Caregiver Camp this year, don't worry. We'll have more camps in 2022 at Knopfsinger Ranch in Benkelman, Nebraska. The camp is an opportunity for new and veteran employees to receive one-on-one instruction in a relaxed environment from Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, Dr. Kip Lucasavage, and Ted Howard on cattle handling, horsemanship, animal health, disease detection, and team interaction. At Caregiver Camp, people learn how to grow, how to trust, and open lines of contact between animals and humans. These principles will allow you to build relationships with your own livestock and team. For more information and future dates, visit our events page at packdvms.com.
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Corbin Stevens, and we're both with Production Animal Consultation. And Dr. Stevens is the owner and operator of Stevens Veterinary Services in Scott City, Kansas. Just a tremendous veterinarian and source of information for me, and so to get you on the show is quite a treat for me, Dr.
Thank
Corbin.
you, Dr. Dan.
Let's talk a little bit different, because there is a difference between cattle going into a hospital facility versus going into a processing barn. And let's talk a little bit, let's start out talking about the hospital system and handling cattle.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know when we bring cattle into a hospital facility, they've had a bad day, right? Their day's not normal. They're removed from their herd mates, and so there's extra stress on those cattle. They're unpredictable sometimes. Reading those cattle takes a little more paying attention. So we want the facilities to basically remove or provide some safety for the handler, and then also keep the cattle comfortable with their environment. With the hospital facilities, what I've found that's probably the simplest is to make sure that we have open tubs where cattle are comfortable with what's going around them, so they can see pressure and see and release from pressure, so that it's not too tight, it's not too enclosed. Cattle, if they're too pressured, they'll react, and being sick, they're going to react probably more aggressively than not being sick. So the whole goal is to get them into the facility with as much low stress so that we can evaluate them, decide what kind of treatment they need, the diagnosis, and then put a plan together, give them their treatment, and then release them so that they can go get better. And all that whole process, probably the most important thing that I teach is no hot shot. And so we hopefully design those facilities so that the hot shot never comes out. Once we begin to have to use other ways to move cattle other than pressure and release, we start to see injuries, shoot bruises, things that are very, very difficult to manage other than just why they were actually pulled. So I work a lot in the feedlots with crews to make sure that we're handling cattle the right way, to lower lamenesses and things that we do in the barn or in the chute that had nothing to do with why they were initially pulled.
Yeah, I think it's, you sit there, and some of the research we've done with, hitting the animal with one or the hot shot once or twice, what that does physiologically, and then shoots off the inflammatory response, and let alone when they're hypoxic from BRD.
Yes.
They don't know where they're at anyway, and now here we go, and this is the way we treat them.
Yeah, so I love to go into a hospital facility where there may not even be a hot shot. It may be in the vet barn or back behind, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to help those cattle as they come into those facilities and just add a little bit of pressure, maybe just a little bit of a hand gesture over, into their flight zone, and then release that pressure and get them to come into the chute nice. And it's very, very important for the treatment response.
Yeah. Well, folks, handling cattle, whether it's a bud box, bud tub, regular tub, in the hospital, vital to have low stress cattle handling. When we come back, we're going to discuss with Dr. Stevens about how to handle those cattle through the processing barn. You're watching DocTalk, and we're very glad that you joined us.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEXX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idexx.com/DocTalk.
Visit us online or call to see how we can improve your cattle handling facility.
If you missed caregiver camp this year, don't worry. We'll have more camps in 2022 at Knopfsinger Ranch in Benkelman, Nebraska. The camp is an opportunity for new and veteran employees to receive one-on-one instruction in a relaxed environment from Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, Dr. Kip Lucas-Savage, and Ted Howard on cattle handling, horsemanship, animal health, disease detection, and team interaction. At Caregiver Camp, people learn how to grow, how to trust, and open lines of contact between animals and humans. These principles will allow you to build relationships with your own livestock and team. For more information and future dates, visit our events page at packdvms.com.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Corbin Stevens, and we're with Production Animal Consultation. And Dr. Stevens is in Scott City, Kansas, travels to many feed yards, works with cow-calf operations, just tremendous veterinarian and person to be around. I learn something every time I'm with Dr. Stevens. Let's talk more about the processing barn, because these cattle are coming in, they're either new processes or re-implants, and so a little bit different situation than cattle are going through the hospital.
Yeah, so in the processing barn, we're looking for throughput, right? We have a certain amount of time during the day, especially this time of year in the summertime. Many of our crews are starting, 4 or 5 in the morning, and we have to get that work done. There's a certain amount of work that has to be done by a certain time of day because of heat and heat stress. So the facilities have to be designed so that you have a high throughput safely, safe for the people, safe for the cattle, lower injury type scenarios with the cattle, and definitely keep the people that are working the cattle safe. So the bud tub in specific is nice because we're able to once again stay out primarily where the cattle begin to be confined. We aren't in with the cattle where there's potential for injury. And it does use that natural return from where they came from instinct. So what I look for in a processing barn, it starts really from the time they bring the cattle out of the pen. If we can bring the cattle out in an orderly manner and control speed and bring them up into the holding slants prior to processing with low stress, oftentimes we'll get along pretty good. Anytime I'm evaluating a processing barn, if I see cattle that are flighty or aggressive or too fast, I don't even go back in the barn. I go back and see how they were pulled from the pen. So we see that sometimes even with our re-implants. We want to make sure that they handle those cattle with low stress so we don't knock them off feed and have issue with their consumption intake. So once we get into the barn, then we know that we can use pressure and release and allow those cattle to flow through these facilities that are specifically designed to keep the cattle comfortable. And then we work really hard with the crews, with the pusher, so that they don't add too much pressure, and they read the cattle and they understand flow. And then as long as that's all okay, then obviously we go up to the chute and we make sure that those processes are correct. Products are mixed correctly, they're administered correctly, the correct products are used. A lot of the feed yards are documenting expiration serials, all those types of things for all the products, so that we can make sure if we have a problem, we can track it down. So that's one of the joys of my job, Dr. Dan, is I get to go work with so many different crews that have certain things that they're really good at, and other crews need work at those types of things, and I can recognize that and begin to hone in on some education and help them get better at what they do.
Well, it's obvious your passion for doing it and your expertise, because when I go into your yards, they just perform at such a high level, and it takes a special person, your humility, to say, hey, I'm looking at this yard, and this yard, and I'm sharing it across to help them get better is just key.
Yeah, and I am blessed with the operations I get to work with. I learn from them. Hopefully I bring some value to them each day, and that's the goal, is to maximize efficiency and do it safely.
Well, you do, and thanks for sharing your information with us today. Folks, low stress cattle handling, proper facilities, working with your veterinarian are all vitally important. If you want to know more about what we do at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Corbin Stevens, and we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.